Good evening, everyone. I'm Rabbi Rachel Barenblat. I'm honored and glad to be able to be with y'all tonight to offer what Rabbi Mark described to me as a little taste of Shabbos in the middle of the week, a little opportunity to experience some Shabbos time in the midst of our hectic weekday, workday lives. Since we are in the journey of the counting of the Omer, the counting of the days between Pesach and Shavuot, I thought it would be fun to do something tonight arising out of that. And I can't tell you what day we will count when it becomes nightfall, wherever each of us is, because if I tell you, then we have to make a bracha. And I don't know whether it's nightfall where everybody is. It's not quite nightfall here yet. But I can tell you that the day now ending was the 39th day. So the day that will come after 39, that's math that we can all do. And that number that none of us is speaking is a really special and holy number. In the rabbinic imagination, in the classical rabbinic imagination, this number is a kind of completion. It's the number of days it takes for a seed to germinate. It's the number of weeks it takes for a fetus to germinate. It's the number of days that Moshe spent atop Sinai, waiting to come down with those first tablets. So here we are on the cusp of that magical, mystical day that we're not naming yet. And it seemed to me that that makes an auspicious time to reflect on the Omer journey as we've experienced it thus far. Since Reb Mark described this to me as a taste of Shabbos midweek, I thought I would begin with some Shabbos sound with a kind of contemporary haftarah. And after that, I'll share a handful of poems, and then I'll open it up for questions, reflections, whatever has come up for each of us as we've taken this in. My invitation to you as you hear these words is to let them sink in, let them penetrate, and reflect on what the Omer journey has held for you thus far. Reflect on what has been unfolding for you in the weeks since that second night of Pesach, which maybe seems very recent and maybe seems like a long time ago. We mark the Omer day by day, spring unfolding light as snowflakes in the breeze. One follows another. We measure each week of this dusty journey through wild unknowing. Come and count Time to make our qualities count. The kaleidoscope shifts every day. Each dawn, a lens that God shines through. What in me will be revealed as light streams into me each week. 7 colors of the rainbow make one beam of white. God is one, and God's in everything we count. Loving kindness permeates the first week, then boundaries, harmony each day, a different lens for light to warm our hearts as it glows through. And when the Omer count is through, we'll stand at Sinai, everyone, every soul that's ever been, light as Shekol's floating angels. Count with me and treasure each day. A holy pause caps every week. Endurance comes into play. Week 4. We wonder, will we make it through? Humility and splendor in a single day. 2 opposites folded into one. Roots strengthen us as we count. Every day, more work to do and stronger light. Torah's black fire on white, light of our lives. In the 7th week, time warps and ripples as we count. Kingship and presence come through. Transcendence and immanence bundled as one. Holy revealed on the 49th day. Feel the light now pouring through. Each week, the 7 Sefirot become one. We measure each steps each day. So that was a sestina for counting the Omer that I've been using in my shul as a haftarah. Not every Shabbos morning, because that would get a little repetitive over 7 weeks. But it's something that I've used once, and it's one of my favorite ways to explore the Omer journey in song. With your permission, I'm going to take a few moments to share a handful of Omer poems, and then I want to open it up to hear what's unfolding in you in response to all of this, what your Omer journey has been like. One step. The Egyptian sky was a goddess doing a backbend. Once we crossed the watery barrier, she gave way, and the heavens became sapphire floor beneath the throne. And we stood by the sea and sang praises, because what else could we do, we who survived? Here we are again, shaking off saltwater tears on a shore we've never seen. There's no map. Above us, miles of air stretching to kiss vacuum. All that freedom impossible to bear sometimes. Too much depends on us. Last night's maror stings our eyes. Ahead, uncharted space, the holy wilderness of the heart. Take a step into the labyrinth. Leave Egypt behind. Day 8, what it means to pray. The judge sees through you like an X-ray. Let your heart give up its secrets. This is what it means to pray, to discern the subtle workings of, let's call it soul, although the word is imprecise and may evoke incense and crystals. I gravitate toward this old-fashioned leather strap twined 10 times around my arm, but use the tools that help you pry your ribs apart and offer up what beats inside. Listen, everyone's reciting through time and space. Your glory shines, majestic one. Song at the sea. Can you still hear the song at the sea? Remember the melody soaring. We all walked together, my hand on your shoulder. You gained a new name in the journey. Remember the melody soaring? You carried your ancestors' bones and gained a new name in the journey. Sing now the song of your wholeness. You carried your ancestors' bones. Sing peace for the cousins who bicker. Sing them the song of your wholeness. Reveal your yearning without fear. Sing peace for the cousins who bicker. This is the gift, a channel with walls. Reveal your yearning without fear. Pour out your love, the container will hold. How did you feel when your waters parted? Don't let the wonder recede. We all walked together, my hand on your shoulder. How did you feel when your waters parted? Can you still hear the song at the sea? Day 14. 2 weeks from Egypt were our ancestors footsore. First, the jubilation of skipping town without even a sourdough starter. Then sandal blisters, manna, and fear. We don't know where this invisible God will take us. We don't know how long the walk will be, how safe the passage. We don't know who we're becoming. Then again, neither does God. Options are infinite. Can we trust our guides to find us water in the desert, wisdom from the living well? The pillar of cloud lifts. Strike camp, take heart, trust the unseen. You're already different from when you began. Day 25. Even if this is the path you're meant to walk, no one promised pedicures and crumpets. Don't you think the children of Israel struggled under the weight of not knowing what lay ahead? Resting when the cloud of glory paused and marching when it lifted, no questions asked. No door worth opening, no journey worth taking can be wholly mapped in advance. No one knows, except for God, what's on the other side. Day 29. To love God, that's a tall order. Does the Milky Way notice me? The Horsehead Nebula? If I'm a speck of dust compared with their grandeur, how much smaller I must seem to the one who made them. And yet, the mystics say the world was born because God was lonely. She wanted to sit in her rocking chair and chat while she knitted the sunset clouds. How could I not love the one who whispers, exist, and the daffodils bloom? Day 31. The Zohar says, after death, each soul is judged 7 times. Pallbearers make 7 stops on the way to the grave, which means our progress shambles, pauses, begins again, as though we were reluctant to reach that destination. 7, the days of the week, the colors of the rainbow. 7 weeks of the Omer between Pesach planting and Shavuot harvest. For what will you be judged when your journey has ended? Day 32. Let the gurgle of the coffee pot as it approaches completion sing praise. Let the percussive pop of the toaster revealing the rough and craggy surfaces of English muffins sing praise. The jangle of silverware in the sink, the glide and click of the dishwasher drawer pulled out to be laden with glasses. Let the key in the ignition sing praise. Let the hum of the motor sing praise. The gavel on the sounding block. The orchestra of hospital machinery monitoring blood pressure and O2 sats. Let the rattle of pills in the jar sing praise. Let your fingers on the keyboard sing praise. The paper in the printer, the ring of the cell phone, the 2-part beat, beloved, of your heart. We'll do one other. Day 33. The 33rd word in the Torah is good. After each act of speaking the universe into being, God paused and saw the good. Light is good. Darkness, good. Also the balance between the two. Every geological feature, every seed and spore and fern. The dinosaurs were good until they weren't. The great auk, the Atlas bear. God must spend eternity reciting, I love what comes and I love what goes. That every story has an ending must also be good, at least from God's vantage, where each drop rejoining the river at the base of the waterfall is coming home. I want to open it up now and ask what, if anything, is coming up for y'all listening to these poems, and or what are some of the gifts of your Omer journey so far this year? And if you would tell me your name so I know who's speaking.
I'm Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi. First, I want to say how beautiful and evocative your poetry is. I really enjoy it. it has been a struggle to remember every day, to count. But I try to count my blessings every day. That, and because there are so many, it's not been a struggle to come up with a new one every day.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and I struggle to remember what world each one is in, what Sephira and what, so that's next year. I'm going to really immerse in that next year. And this year I'm counting my blessings.
The good news is it always comes around again. So
right.
God willing, there's always another opportunity.
Right. And I do have the chart, and I know what the Sephirot are and but I just can't remember how they fit together and what they're supposed to, what the intention is for each day. And I don't feel expert enough to do that on my own. So I think I need a guide to help me through that.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but I do love the imagery that you shared.
It's also, I think, worth bearing in mind that all of these different frames or lenses, the sphirot or the qualities, or if you're approaching it from a Musar perspective, you can say the 48 qualities with which we acquire Torah are the 48 out of the 49 days. But all of those are extra layers that we put on top of the core practice, which is really just to count, to notice the passage of time, to notice that today is different than yesterday was, and that the days aren't just coming at random. There's a progression. We're headed towards something. To me, that's the most integral piece. Anyone else? What has the Omer journey been like for you this year?
Well, this is Jay,
Hi, Jay.
and I've literally been helping someone I was in relationship with going through a mourning period for the loss of her mother. And it's a struggle because she has a lot of challenges to begin with.
Yeah.
And, so it's very easy to forget about the blessings that I have. Also, not knowing where this journey is going to take her as well as me. And there's been some back issues related to that, and probably maybe some different destinations of where we want to go. But there's, so I don't know exactly, so just remembering about the blessings. And, today has actually been a day of a break from that after some particular hardship.
Thank you for opening that up.
And thank you also for the poems. Those are very healing.
It's truly my joy.
Pedicure as well.
My own mother died on February 28th of this year, which was either a very long time ago or possibly it was just yesterday. I couldn't really tell you. And I have certainly experienced myself that grief scrambles the sense of time, and that grief is not linear. The Omer journey is linear, right? You're going from Pesach to Shavuot. Where you're leaving. You're leaving Egypt and you're going toward Revelation, and it only goes in one direction. Grief is nothing like that, in my experience. Grief. There's a wonderful cartoon I've seen that says what we think grief looks like, and it's a straight line. And then it says what grief actually looks like, and it's a line that starts out straight and then goes all squiggly and all over the place, and then comes out straight the other end, right? And I'll mention this in case it is helpful to your friend who's going through the loss of her mother, that in the last few months, I've been writing a long series of poems exploring what it is to have my mother die and what that means and where I am and who I am. And those are all now on my blog, which is Velveteen Rabbi. They will probably see print at some point in a couple of years like paper print, when I have time to revise them and polish them and make them shine. But the raw material is going up on my blog. So if those poems would be of help or of service, that's what they're there for.
Thank you.
The poems that you just read to us are on your site?
Well, actually, no. The poems that I just read to you are from a collection called Toward Sinai, which is available on Amazon. It's 49 poems for the 49 days of the Omer. And they do often relate to the sfirot and the themes for the days, but the connection is probably sometimes opaque to anyone who's not me. I think sometimes it's more obvious than others, but maybe that's part of the fun is seeing where they take you, because really it's more about what they say to you than what I thought they said when I wrote them down. These 49 poems came through me in a span of about 3 weeks after a particularly intense spiritual experience that I had. And I sat down the next day and started writing, and 49 poems came pouring out of me, which has never happened before or since. And so this collection emerged almost fully formed, which is rare for me.
Yasher koach.
Thank you. Baruch Tiyeh. And if anyone else wants to share a thought on the Omer journey, you are welcome to do so.
Well, I'll just say one thing. My name is Ruth, and first of all, about grief. You're absolutely right about grief. I've lost both of my parents, and it is not linear at all. I mean, there are days recently, and it's been 10 years, and even more than that, and that it feels like it's just yesterday. And then there are days where it's fine. You get through the day just fine. But with regard to counting, I am enjoying the counting because I think what happens is it reminds me, each time I count, it reminds me to think about why I'm counting.
Mm-hmm.
And it otherwise, 49 days goes by pretty fast, and you don't really look at it critically. But every night I think about why am I counting that part of it.
That makes sense. So thank you. That's a beautiful reflection. With awareness that our time is almost over, I'll share one more Omer poem and then close with the same nigun with which I began. Boy, Reb Mark was right. He said 30 minutes goes fast, and it sure does. I want to thank you all for spending a little bit of your week with me. It's been a pleasure to meet all of you. I am findable online at Velveteen Rabbi, and I welcome emails or comments or whatever comes through. This is the poem for day 39, the day that will soon be ending whenever night falls where each of us is. The well won't run dry. You might have to scoop chalky dust with your hands, remove the rock that's wedged in the channel, but the water is there. It wants to flow. Can you feel it beating against your breastbone, urging you to let it surge free? Dig the channel again and drop the plumb line as far as the string will go. Things which have no limit, the reservoir of blessing, the ocean of Torah, the depths of your heart. Yeah. Laila Tov. Thank you, everyone.
Laila Tov. Bye.